Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to discuss some important aspects of ESG. ESG investigating refers to responsible investigations that incorporate environmental, social, and government factors into the investment process and decision making. A wide variety of issues fall under the realm of ESG, and while these issues may not traditionally play a role in financial analysis, ESG investors believe they have financial relevance. ESG builds on the social responsible investments movement, but it differs from SRI in some respect. It is not based on moral or ethical criteria. It assumes that ESG factor will blend into traditional investment evaluations. ESG investors believe that integrated ESG factor will help them manage the risk posed by dangers like climate change readings to a more sustainable financial performance. In June 2020, the Labor Department proposed a rule that would prevent pension fund advertise from considering humanitarian or environmental factor in the investment decision. More investors are accounting for ESG factor. Total US asset under management using sustainable investment strategy against total US asset under management. One 17.1 trillion dollar of the professional managers said at the start of 2020 were under strategy that considered ESG criteria in the investment process and decision making compared to 8.1 trillion dollar in 2016 and 2.5 trillion dollar in 2010. This means that 2021 dollars of every $3 invested by institutional investor money managers and community investing financial institution in the US was under an ESG investment strategy. Portfolio of ESG investment by type of investor. ESG incorporation by investors types. Institutional investors and money manager filed for the shareholder revolutions of ESG issues worth $2 trillion on the net worth of total such asset from 2018 to 2020. Institutional investors and ESG. ESG incorporation reported by institutional investors in trillions of dollars, $6.2 trillion. ESG incorporation by ESG criteria in trillions. Forecast climate change. In CMO white paper, investor Jimmy Ganthams and portfolio manager Lucas Wiley argue that investors will benefit from the secular growth trade tailwinds in the climate change sectors. The author believe a climate change strategy allow investors to invest in the growth-focused companies at a discount, while protecting them from the climate risk and inflation. Clean energy solutions are as potential alternative for those looking to diverse from the fossil fuel. Gives the solution indicator exposure to the fossil fuel price. A UBS survey is over 600 asset owners across 46 countries found that environmental factors could outstrip financial analysis over the coming years. A UNPRI study found that climate change ranks as the top concern for investors in 2019. Investors were also found to be concerned about attendance risks around the food and agricultural product as well as deforestation. 80% of the asset owner view not integrating ESG factor as a material risk. 65% of the institutional investors believe ESG will become standard practice in the next 5 years. 19% of the institutional investor ESG asset in 2018 were related to the climate change and carbon. 73% of the institutional investment would be more likely to buy a fund that demonstrated a similar carbon footprint than others. COVID-19 could serve as a catalyst for investors to account for climate risk. Institutions turn to a variety of ethical when it comes to evaluations ESG. Diversify and ESG investment. Some have proposed adding a oath letters of ESG investing T for diversity. Investors could also account for racial justice issues within the aspects of ESG investment. Potential investor section standards work for diversity measurements, pushing firms to improve board and management diversity, prioritize black-owned business and or companies that offer equitable pay and investments. These are the very important aspects of investment, and if we can look after the ESG, we can take lot of initiative, and ESG can help us to grow our economy in an effective way, and we have to take lot of initiative. Thank you, bye bye, and take care.